if you're already competent with your laser and looking to get a UV printer, that's what UV Energize is for. If you're
Yep.
ready to be surrounded by the best UV print providers in the country, that's who comes to UV Energize. And these people ain't playing. These are successful money making companies, and it's just fun to be around that many awesome people that are doing it.
And welcome to the Riley Black Project with Crystal and John.
Hey.
What's up?
Oh, same old shit.
Same old shit. We have an exciting episode.
Yes.
We're going to continue with our show recaps.
Yeah,
well, not
with our
recap, but
events,
upcoming events
series.
and everything. But first, this episode is brought to you by Monarch Pine.
Yeah, Katie with Monarch Pine. She, if you were looking for jewelry blanks or findings, she is your girl. Check out her new website. So it's monarchpine.com, and make sure to use code Riley Black for 10% off. And if you're a patron, you get an even higher discount.
That's
so
right.
make sure to go peep that out in
That's right.
your
It's
exclusive Facebook group and on Patreon.
That's right. And perfect time to join Patreon. If you're not, you get 10-day early access and a bunch of other free
Other goodies.
bunch of other goodies along with a bunch of other discounts, not just from Katie.
Yeah.
Also, while you're checking all things Riley Black Project, don't forget to join our community, our Facebook group, Riley Black Project Community.
Yeah.
On Facebook. Now, without further ado, this is going to be a great event. True to On Brand, our guest today has hooked his lip to his nose? I think his lip to his nose in a fishing. Which as a fisher, I can see that happening.
Yeah.
Also on brand was almost trampled by an African water buffalo.
Wow.
That's a story
about that
you gotta hear. But also with the accolades, and I want to get these right. Recently won Supplier of the Year at APA, where we saw and we really hung out with him. Also, currently the top Mimaki dealer in the USA in the last 5 years running.
Nice.
So if that doesn't tell you who we have on the show, I don't know what rock you're under, but welcome to the show. Steve from PDS. How's it going, man?
Man, I appreciate y'all having me on. It's an exciting time to be in the printing equipment business.
Right?
For sure.
Going wild, and we're able to print on stuff that we've never been able to print on before. It's just cool seeing everybody getting them, and they're coming up with new stuff. And I mean, it's UV printing. We've been doing it for probably 13 years, but it's still, we're learning every day.
Yeah.
There's new stuff you can print on. Our customers are coming up with cool stuff. It's a wild time to be in printing for sure.
Yeah. So how did you get into this? How did PDS come about? Selling Mimakis. Just give us a little bit of background.
Of course, PDS, we've been in business since 1982.
Nice.
My dad and his partner, Bill Leidick, they're the founders of the company.
Okay.
At one time, they was both independent service guys working in the industry, but they wasn't partners at all. And then neither one of them had any products to sell. It was all they had was a toolbox and the know-how to fix machines. So we started out being a service company, and both of those guys got so busy with each other's customers, they couldn't even take a vacation. So when my dad was going on vacation, he would have to call Bill and say, "Hey, I'm going to be out of town. Can you cover my customers while I'm gone?" And they ended up just swapping out work while they was on vacation or traveling, just so their customers were always taken care of.
Yeah.
So when I tell people our company is a customer service company, that's the truth, because that's how our company started. We didn't have any machines to sell, no parts. It was all about servicing the customers, and we've kept that as our main product the whole time.
Yeah.
I started working here in 1994, straight out of high school.
Nice.
I went to high school, was a wrestler in high school, could have went to college to wrestle, but kind of like you guys knowing what y'all's goals are for your podcast, I knew what my goal was. My goal was work in PDS equipment. So I didn't want to go to college. I come out of high school. I started working here in the 11th grade. And then I just full time, I was, once you know what your career is going to be, it's so much fun to learn and grow. Some people, they don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know until, man, like my 30s, honestly, because I never thought, like, I didn't think that I could make money doing something creative. So, I just got the best job I could get that seemed, in my circle at the time, and ended up even getting a bachelor's in finance. And all that degree taught me, it took me 11 years because I went part-time, but all it taught me was that I hate finance. So for our kids, even, like, sure, if they want to go to college or the position they want requires that college degree, because, there's some that require that.
Yeah, you can't get around it.
Right. Like, doctor or therapist or, social worker, those kind of things. You have to have, certain degrees and licenses and stuff. But other than that, like, I mean, if you know what you want to do, you don't necessarily need a degree. Maybe it's a vocational school instead, or, but yeah.
It's wild. I mean, to have a job like this, like I have, that's so rewarding. We make good money selling machines, but our customers make a ton of money with these machines, and to be able to make a good living and know that when they get our machine, they've got an opportunity to reach their goals. Some of them more than they ever thought.
Right.
And it's just cool to be a part of. I don't know what else you want out of a career, to be able to make a good living, build a community of people that are happy. Y'all been to our events, everybody there, they're all happy. It's a pretty special time, and we don't take any of that for granted. Of course, with the internet and social media, if you don't do everything perfect or whatever, it can go the other way.
Right.
So we're really hypersensitive on making sure we take care of everybody, and at the same time, not overselling machines.
Right.
If some people want to buy our machines, I'm like, you're not really a good fit for our machine. It's not going to be successful for you.
Yeah.
So we actually sometimes tell people they're not ready, even if they got the money to pay. I don't want to hear the stories 6 months from now about it wasn't a good machine. I'm like, it wasn't that. You didn't have enough business to feed it.
Right.
These machines, they like to be ran. They're hungry, and if you run them, 4 or 5 hours a week, they pay for themselves. But some people have a full-time job and they want to do it on the side as a hobby. It's not really a hobby printer. This is a workhorse. But it's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool to see them running and all the opportunities all the things that it can do.
Yeah.
I mean, even for us, it's like really enticing to get one. But it's like you were saying, the running of it has to be ran all the time, and we're not really big on physical products to do it. So it's a cool factor, and it's a fun thing. But kudos to you to not just selling the machines to anyone who wants to buy it, having them be ready, because it can be a knock to customer satisfaction, because they're like, well, you're, like you were saying, you're not ready for it. You're gonna have a bad experience before they even get into it. But yeah, it's cool to see, and there's such a big, like, it feels like a boom on UV printers right now in our community. Can you talk more about like what you've seen and like how it's gone from what it seems like crazy, like everyone's getting them?
Hey guys, how great would it feel if this was the year you finally got to escape the 9-to-5 and embrace a lifestyle of creativity and entrepreneurship?
Every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, Eon Laser USA invites you to join the Above and Beyond webinar, where you'll learn how you can make this a reality.
Join leading laser industry professional and brand ambassador Emily, aka That Mom with a Laser, and Eon Laser USA's sales manager Alicia as they dive into all things Eon.
Learn about the advantages of owning an Eon laser and get the scoop on Eon's rewards and partner benefits. Plus, get a glimpse at how everyday people who started out with zero experience paid off their lasers, scaled their businesses, and transformed their lifestyles.
So if you're ready for a lifestyle change, head on over to eonlaser.us/whyus and sign up for the Above and Beyond webinar today.
Thanks for listening. Laser on.
Bye. Lone Star Adhesive has elevated the industry standard with their premium leatherette, UV printed goods, and American-made products in leather, acrylic, PVC, and their indestructible thermal activated adhesive.
You can check them out at lonestaradhesive.com or join their Facebook community of nearly 30,000 fellow makers who share the belief that you shouldn't cut corners and instead stick to excellence.
Lone Star Adhesive official group is where it's at, and you can use code TRBP15 to get 15% off your next purchase.
Go get you some.
Go.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the margin potential on a UV printer is over the top. You know, they're 4 to 5 times faster than a laser engraver. Okay, that's it. That don't matter if you got an Eon, a Trotec, an Epilog.
Right.
These machines are producing products 4 to 500% faster than a laser, and the products you're producing are worth more value because they're full color. You know, everybody wants full color products.
Yeah.
And even on a UV printer, I can print items that look like they're laser printed. You know, I can do frosted glass, I can do this black. So I can do majority of stuff you can do on a laser, but
Less
you
work.
can print much faster.
Yeah.
And they're, you know, they're somewhat expensive machines. They're, you know, close to 40 grand for our base level machine.
Right.
Sounds like a lot of money. If you finance it, it's around $25 a day. You know, some people are spending that on coffee and
Right.
lunch, you know.
Yeah.
So if you really boil down to it, if you can't afford $25 a day, you're not ready for
Yeah.
a production machine.
And in a business, $25 is a subscription nowadays to
Right.
almost anything, whether it be a software.
Not daily,
or-
but yeah.
Huh?
Not daily,
yeah,
but yeah.
But I mean, it's
Still,
it's
yeah.
still, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if you just run a machine a couple hours a day, so it's the risk to your company is very small, but the upside is crazy. I've had people pay these machines off in 30 days.
Yeah.
And the reason the laser industry's enjoying it is because they're the best fit for UV printers. Okay?
Right.
With the laser, they can cut their own products with the laser, whether it's a shade, whatever, and then print on it. They can make their own jigs. So the laser market is the best. They make the most money the fastest with
Right.
a UV printer. I mean,
Because
we
they
got
have the
some
perfect
companies that,
pairing.
yeah, perfect pairing. We have some companies that, let's say they've been airbrushing fishing lures for the last 20 years. Okay.
Yeah.
It takes somebody that's been airbrushing to a digital printing machine is not easy.
Mm.
They don't know graphic design. They
Right.
never send a print file from a computer to a machine.
True.
So the growing pains you guys have when y'all get a laser,
Yeah. The learning curve is less steep. Yeah.
it's less steep because you got Corel, Adobe, you
Yeah.
got some sort of graphic design. You understand maintenance at some level because you got to clean the lenses, you got to keep the machine clean.
Right.
So all those valuable lessons just make dropping in a UV printer instant. You're making money the day we leave your facility
Right.
because of the time you've learned, all the hard stuff you learned with your laser.
Yeah.
And a lot of you guys get the lasers and they just ship it to you. You unbox and have to figure it all out.
Yeah.
And then when we come in with a professional installer and a professional training crew, you guys are normally blown away about the level of installation because y'all are not used to it. Okay.
For sure.
We don't direct ship any machines. We hand deliver each one. We stay there. We load your software. Sometimes software goes in good. Sometimes you got firewall issues. It just and that just starts out the whole ownership stressful because you think you're doing something wrong. It's not. It's a computer antivirus software. We don't want you to have to worry about that. We're there doing it. So if something happens, you say, hey, you go get lunch. We'll take care of this when you get back. We don't want any stress during the installation. And if we're
it can
not
be
there,
nerve-wracking anyway to get a new machine and a new machine at that price point. Because I mean, even just getting my Mira 9 5 years ago, that was 10K, 11K, and
Mhm.
I was terrified to like
Right.
break things. And they at the time did have kind of like a 1 hour like training call and went over like some basics and stuff, but it was still terrifying to like, do all that. So to have
You don't want to mess it
someone
up.
right,
Yeah.
so to have someone kind of walk, hold your hand for that first, how long is the training?
It's usually 2 days.
Okay,
And
yeah.
at the end
So
of that second day, we'll like go to dinner and say, hey, are you comfortable? Are you good?
yeah,
If they're not, we don't leave. Okay.
yeah,
We have to warranty the machine. So if we're not comfortable with you running it, we're not going to leave you with it. Okay.
right,
There's been some instances where the operator wasn't focused. I had to go tell the owner of the company, this ain't your guy.
yeah,
I can't let this guy run the machine. He's not paying attention. You know,
right,
you're giving him the keys to a brand new Lamborghini, and he's probably going to crash it if he don't. If this is
right,
your main guy, it's not going to go good. And that's a hard discussion, but I
Right.
got to look out for the guy that's paying for the machine.
for
If
sure.
I think his operator's not capable,
Yeah.
somebody's got to tell him.
Yeah, well, and that's
Right.
ultimately that's your customer. So, you want to
Right.
ensure that they're happy and who's running
Right.
it, being qualified or, having
Right.
that
Well,
basic
and
understanding
also
is huge.
risk the reputation as well, because
Right.
if they can't run it, the first thing they're gonna say is, I don't know, this machine just isn't running right.
Yeah.
And since the
Yeah.
owner doesn't have firsthand experience, they're
Right.
gonna go by who they're entrusting with it. So
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah. So we just been doing it a long time, so we can sense that kind of stuff, and just make sure they're going to be happy with their machine. And a lot of times it's more training on the operator, but at the end of the training, we sit down and, hey, are you good to go? If they're not, we come in the next day. We don't charge extra for that.
Yeah.
And not only the training, just getting it in your building. Okay.
Yeah.
Some people, it shows up on a liftgate truck and they drop it off in your front yard or your driveway.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay, and you're responsible for getting it in the building. And if it falls, that's not that company's problem. You've
Right.
got a banged up machine and they've already got your money. What's cool about our sales, we don't want any of your money until the machine's completely installed and you're happy with the training. We don't require a deposit. We don't,
Nice.
and we put the machine in your building. If it has to
Yeah.
go up steps, we carry it. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
It just eliminates all the risk from
Right.
the buying process. I mean,
Yeah.
99% of other companies, you're going to pay for their machine before it leaves their
Right.
warehouse.
Yeah.
So we
Yes.
just
So-
do it.
What is I guess maybe one of the craziest or coolest items you've seen maybe some of your customers print onto?
Oh, man. Of course, I'm a fisherman, so
Mhm.
the fishing lures are super cool.
Nice.
We do a lot of industrial plates, like on a piece of Lexan or acrylic that it's single color on the front, but on the back of there's LEDs. So when they light up, it changes colors.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure y'all seen some of the lenticular printing where
Yeah.
you're printing, it
Where it
changes.
shifts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool. Of course, all kinds of cannabis related products for all the
Nice.
vape dispensaries. A lot of poker chips. It's
Mhm.
all over the place. I mean,
Yeah.
my customers that are making the most money, they're printing small, personalized stuff, similar to what you guys are, your
Yeah.
keychain things. The smaller stuff you can print, the better.
Right.
You might print 50 of them every 5 minutes. And get
Right.
them $8 to $12 a piece for each one. It
Yeah.
doesn't take long at all to start stacking up some cash.
Attention all laser owners and crafters. Are you tired of spending hours cutting, painting, and assembling laser products? Look no further than the Crazy Laser Dad's Laser Ready Blanks.
Their high quality blanks are expertly sourced and tested and ready to use on your laser. Say goodbye to the hassle and frustration of time consuming projects and hello to more time creating and selling.
Plus, with their wide selection of items, you'll surely find the perfect blank for your customers.
Visit crazylazerdad.com today and take your laser crafting to the next level with their laser ready blanks.
The Riley Black Project is sponsored by Monarch Pine.
Monarch Pine is your trusted source for premium laser blanks and jewelry findings. From large loop earring hooks made specifically for acrylic and wood earrings to laser-tested stainless steel necklace and bracelet blanks, they have everything you need to bring your creative ideas to life.
As a maker, you know the value of quality supplies. And that's exactly what Monarch Pine delivers. Whether you're crafting as a hobby or running a full-time business, their products make it easy to design confidently and create stunning pieces.
Head to monarchpine.com and use code RileyBlack to get 10% off your order. Riley Black patrons get an even bigger discount, so don't miss out.
While you're at it, join the Monarch Pine Craft Supply Insiders Facebook group. It's a vibrant community where makers share tips, inspiration, and their incredible creations.
Monarch Pine, where your creativity takes center stage. Visit monarchpine.com and use code RileyBlack today.
Not tomorrow.
Today. Yeah, he was drooling when you guys did that gun show recently.
Yeah, and all the other gun parts. And I was talking to one of them at APA, and or no, I think you posted a Cerakoted slide and then some stuff on the side. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. That's more than just a magazine, because up until then I had seen all like the cool magazines, the PMags, and then I saw the actual slide. I'm like, oh wait, I guess Cerakote would be a nice like base layer. And then I was talking to one of the guys at APA talking about like how durable is it, because you know there's a lot of friction and a lot of heat and everything like that when you're talking about firearms,
right?
And you know, I was just talking to them about it, and yeah, it was pretty cool. So the stuff that's done. Another thing I'm curious to know is like, what have you seen? Like, what was like the typical thing that was printed on prior to this laser community boom, and then what new, like what has, because kind of like the lasers before, it was all like industrial machining, almost signage, like almost, you don't want to say vanilla, but kind of vanilla stuff, right? And now people are making all kinds of intricate designs and everything, and some even say, well, the machine was never made to be so, you know, detailed or whatever, and people have been proving that wrong now. So what kind of, like, how have you seen the things that people print on change?
The very first, I'll just go to the first install I ever did, which kind of set us on this path. There was a company down in Alabama that was printing. They wanted to buy a machine, and this was before I was even trained on a machine. We had just signed up to be a Mimaki dealer. Hadn't been trained, only seen it one time in my life. It was a 3042 at that point. It's a smaller flatbed, and it was after a big trade show. So they said, hey, I want my printer. I want it installed next week. Well, Mimaki was at this big trade show. They couldn't get there for a month to install the machine. The customer said, hey, I can't wait a month. You either install it next week or I'm not buying your machine. So immediately I downloaded all the manuals, the installation manuals, and started reading. I was driving down the road with my laptop open,
oh my
reading
God.
the manual, you know, at the hotel, reading the manuals. I'd never installed them before.
Yeah.
I went to install it. It took about 2 or 3 days. It was in a small doorway, like a small bedroom door.
Yeah.
And the machine's bigger than the door. So I had to flip it on its back to carry it through. And I didn't have a dolly because I didn't know yet. So I had to use a skateboard.
Oh my God.
Put it on the skateboard and skated it through the doorway, put it in there. And I put it in pretty much her baby's room. Okay, I got a playpen sitting here, and then this machine.
Wow.
Once I got it installed, I watched them for 3 days. They was a OtterBox and LifeProof cell phone case dealer. Okay, so those cases were almost $100 when they first come out. Waterproof. That's back when our phones wasn't waterproof. So everybody had LifeProof or an OtterBox case. Well, they get 50% off because they was a dealer, and then they was putting these monograms on it. Okay, so they was making about $65 profit per cell phone case.
Wow.
And they could print 11 of them every 6 minutes. I watched them do that for 3 solid days. Okay, it was 3 Santa Claus size bags of cases that was $65 profit per case.
Wow.
So needless to say, they practically paid for that machine the 3 days I was there. Okay? And at that point, Mimaki was advertising this as a promotional products, pen, jump drives. It's a promo deal. And what I seen, that was not promo. That was one of a kind, personalized products that she made. And this was just but this one person and her baby sitting here beside her. She just knocking it out. that installation let me know that these aren't just promotional
Right.
product printers. These
Right.
are complete money makers. To make that much money in 3 days, it opened my eyes, and then we've never stopped
Yeah.
since. And that company, they went probably 4 months, called, ordered another one, and then at one point they got offered like 4 or 5 million for their company,
Mm.
and they was like, you know what, we make that every year. Why would I? We're having fun, we're enjoying it.
Right.
Until I
Right.
can find something that can make this much money, I'm not selling it. Okay,
Yeah.
so it was just pretty. We was fortunate that we had the first install went like that, and I
Right.
got to see it and feel it. And then I didn't rely on Mimaki to do the installation, so it got us deep into manuals,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and that's kind of what we've always done. We always try to do the hard stuff, and just to be a part of that first install was definitely set us on a launch pad for UV.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think, I mean, it's honestly, it just comes down to finding that one, I mean, it could be, like you said, one item that has those higher margins of smaller
Mhm.
things that's kind of like niche. And I mean, like on, Patricia's episode, I think she's bought them from you, right? Trisha's reclaimed
Yep,
woods. Yeah.
yep. She's having a blast.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
her one of her friends like did like the engraving for like breast implants,
Right.
like serial numbers, like super random, super
Yeah,
niche, didn't even know it was a thing, and that was like her thing.
Right.
You find that one item that you
Mhm.
can again just repeatedly make, a bunch at a time, and you're golden.
that's what the majority of our top customers, they do maybe 3 or 4 different products.
Mhm.
That's
Smart.
all they do. They don't.
Yep.
They turn down, and I think that's where a lot of people struggle. They try to do everything for
Yeah.
everybody.
Right.
That's
Right.
not scalable. You can't scale that.
Right.
Okay, it's just like us. We could sell the Mimaki DTF printers. We could sell
Mhm.
textile and embroidery and lasers. We could sell all that if we want to,
Right.
but that wouldn't allow us time to do what we think is our best
Mhm.
opportunity. So we've cut away a bunch of that stuff. One time we sold 30 different product lines.
Mhm.
Okay. Now we sell two. And all those
Nice.
product lines were profitable. They was all
Yeah.
making money, but it don't give us time to focus on what we think is best for our customers and us.
Right.
So, we cut them all off, and we're down to two product lines. We sell the Mimaki UV printers, and we sell the Standard Horizon paper processing equipment, like perfect binders, saddle stitchers,
Mm.
paper folders. Like if you go to Amazon and buy a book, well, that's not a real book. They don't have a book sitting there hoping you buy them. Your
Yeah.
check card clears. They print it. Our machines assemble all the books.
Mm.
But
Mm.
that's a separate side of our company that we
Right.
do, like Jocelyn Deere Book Company, and our machines assemble all the books for
Nice.
those guys.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But you saying some of the coolest things we've seen printed. This is kind of cool and kind of sad at the same time. Uh, we had a cosmetic company. They was printing on fingernails, okay, and there was a little square inside that fingernail. These were for testing for date rape drugs. Okay, so if
Mm.
you're a college student and went to a bar, you stick your finger in your drink, and if it turns blue, you call the police.
Wow.
So little stuff like that you can print on. I mean, that's a
That's
fingernail,
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
that. So that's it's anything.
Yeah.
All the elevator, the signs on the elevator, the evacuation plans,
Mhm.
the
Right.
you go to your hotel room, it's got a room number, the braille dots, these
Yeah.
machines, and all that.
Nice. Yeah, I
That's
mean,
cool.
I feel like the laser is already pretty unlimited in its capabilities and possibilities, right?
Mhm.
There's so
Right.
many different things you can do, which is great, but can be overwhelming for people like me with ADHD. Like you want to do all the things, and it's really hard to choose like, which one, especially when the possibilities are endless. And then adding a UV just increases that like infinitely
Right.
in a good
Yeah.
and potentially bad way, because it can be like, okay, what do I want? What do I want to do? So you kind of
Mhm.
have to do some experimenting to figure out, one, what do you enjoy doing? Because if you actually like it, it makes it easier to do it a lot and for a long time. But yeah, it's great that like it increases that infinite possibility just that much more, because with laser printing, like you were saying, there are some limits. If there's a lot of engraved time, then now you're cutting into your profitability, because now you have to factor in that engraved time, which again, even with a fast laser, even the fastest laser can only go so fast.
Right.
And then you can't easily paint fill. You either have to paint fill by hand, or there's some other ways to do it, but they're all either, pretty tedious or a little bit messy and not like perfect. Even if you do well at filling, there's still, going to be some times where it maybe it will not match print quality,
Yeah. And it's
So
hard to repeat it. It's hard to repeat it
exactly.
consistently.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen people that they're hand painting door hangers or hand painting
Mhm.
signs or whatever,
Mhm.
and they go to the craft fair and their bestseller sells out the first 10 minutes of the show. And these take hours to produce at
Right.
home, and they're doing it in the garage. And say, well, with our machine, you can literally paint one of them, hand paint it, take a nice photograph of it, and then reprint that same design over and
Mhm.
over.
Right.
And then our machines will even pick up the brush strokes. So when you look at
Nice.
that wall hanger, it's still, you can actually feel the brush strokes like it was hand painted. You can't look
Right.
at it and tell it wasn't hand painted. That's a part of the texture. The texture our
Yeah.
machines do. So, and some of those ladies, they just want their life back. They don't
Yeah.
want to be in the garage printing or painting all
Right.
night.
Painting their hearts away. Yeah.
They should be feeding their kids, but they're in the garage
Mhm.
painting all weekend because it's good
Mhm.
money. Well,
Right.
that was a quote directly from my customers. I want my life back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I wanna do this
Got to
in.
streamline those processes. Yeah.
It takes 5 minutes to print one. It took them 4 or 5 hours to paint one.
Right.
So it's like now I get to hang out with my kids, and
Mhm.
I'm not stuck in the garage painting all weekend.
And
Right.
that's a cool feature I never thought about. You can actually like make one hand paint it and
Right.
make it how you want it and take a
Mhm.
picture. Now you can mass produce
Yeah.
it at a fraction of the
Well,
time.
I mean, even Kim and Garrett, I was watching one of their videos or live or
Mhm.
something the other day, and he wasn't they sell paints, but he wasn't
Right.
in the mood to paint that day. So he literally printed the color onto the board
Right.
and then cut it on his laser and like basically, had printed his own specific colors and then
Mhm.
just assembled all of
Right.
it. So, cut
Yeah.
out one extra step because he wasn't in the mood to paint that day.
Right.
So
Right.
Yeah,
So
and you don't have to wait on it to dry. It's dry. As soon as
exactly,
you bring it out the
right.
machine, it's dry.
yeah, I would say let's shift gears and
Into
talk
the
about
events.
and talk
Yeah.
about UV Energize.
So first, let's talk briefly about Amanda's, since that's coming up first.
Oh right.
Yep.
Amanda's event, May 15th through the 16th. May. I said that right?
Yeah.
I think
Yep.
so.
I think so.
But at Cerulean Tides, she's in Pompano,
Mhm.
in Florida,
Florida.
and you guys are attending as well. So tell us a little bit
Yeah,
about
we're
that
looking
event.
forward to it. Of course, I went down and visited with her after her installation. Her facility's beautiful.
It is. Yeah, we
Uh,
were just there.
and I took a tour at all the different acrylic samples she has. And, when you got a facility like that and all the samples, and you got the laser and the UV printer there, that's a great place to have a meetup and
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and encourage everybody. I mean, that's what most of my events are really for. It's just about getting creative people together, and we can all feed off each other's excitement and energy. And even some people might be scared to death, but they
Right.
need to connect with other people that have been there
Yep.
and have done it. And once they get around people who have, become successful with the same equipment they have, it gives them a little confidence to not give up, don't quit.
Right.
You'll get there. And then we've all had mentors that we've met at different events or different stuff that we can reach out to if we need to. So it's really about just connecting creative people at all different levels together. And Amanda, she's sweet as she can be.
Yeah.
And we're excited to go down and just be a part of it. Just help anybody that's down there. It's not a sales event. It's a learning event, and
Yeah.
if we can help somebody, no matter what UV printer they have, what
Yeah.
we're going to teach is going to be relevant to all UV printers. I think I might be doing business development or marketing stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, having
Yeah.
my marketing classes, I don't even mention UV printing. My
Yeah.
stuff works whether you're a landscaper, hanging wallpaper, it don't matter. It's about identifying your target customer and getting in front of them as much as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll be a great event for especially people who are somewhat local to be able to like see, touch, feel, that's
Right.
huge with these kind of things. Like, seeing what people make, and post on the internet, that's one thing, but like actually seeing it in action, meeting people, meeting customers, like Amanda who actually have it and love it, that can make a huge difference in one seeing is this right for me, and if it isn't, or it's and
Right.
the networking at any of these events is just you can't replace that with any kind of virtual or
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people realize how important networking is. All
yeah,
the
Yeah.
connections. I mean, of course,
it's
y'all probably
huge.
like us. I mean, I'm I'm at trade shows. I'm busy. I've got more friends inside the printing community than I do
Yep.
outside of it. I mean, when I go to
Yep.
a trade show, it's like a family reunion.
Totally.
Uh, and that's what's special about our industry. So many
Yeah.
cool people, and to be successful in this industry long term, you got to be a good person.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a real community. If you're full of crap or
Mm-hmm.
just
Mhm.
trying to scam people, you're not going to make it. So
Right.
anybody
Right.
who's been in industry, for a while, they've done right by other people, or they wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
still be here.
Right.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
that's super important to, just treat people right, do what you say you're going to do,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
answer your phone.
Right.
None of it's magic,
Right.
Right.
it's just do what's right.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean just again that in-person like connection and relationship, and sure during the day it's mostly work for some of us, especially at the trade
Mm-hmm.
shows and stuff like that, but then afterwards when you get to kind of like relax and just hang with people and you really get to see, their personality and see who you vibe
Yep.
with and click with, prime example, the PDS party. I was sick while we were in
Man.
APA, and I was like, no, I gotta go to.
You
Thankfully,
can't
I
miss
had.
that one.
Yeah, thankfully, I loaded myself with all the vitamins, and I was
All the meds.
doing okay. But
Yeah.
it was just such a good time with so many
Yeah.
people. Customer or not, we're not a PDS customer yet, but it was so awesome to hang out with so many like like-minded
Mm-hmm.
and some very successful people in the industry, and just pick their brain, and just to be in their presence alone was huge. So
Yeah, it's definitely a special group, and we're very thankful to be a part of it. And anytime we can get everybody together, that's fun stuff for us.
so another event that you're doing that will get some people together is UV Energize. So tell us like about when that is, where it's at, and a little about what they can expect.
Yep, UV Energize is kind of a Mimaki and PDS users group meetup. Okay, it's not a sales event. There's no show prices or machine promos. We target our existing customers. I mean, there's people that don't have Mimakis yet that are coming, but
Me.
this event is built for our customers that have bought machines. We call it UV Energize. Okay, it's to energize you with the equipment you've already got.
Yeah.
Okay, if your machine's not busy, maxed out, you don't need another machine. Okay, but if we
Right.
can help you with the marketing, the production, the maintenance, the operations, if we can help you get your machine busy enough to where you're making the monthly payment every day, why not add another machine?
Right.
Okay, so our goal is to make them so good at all that stuff that the business is coming in faster than they can do it, and they buy more equipment.
Yeah.
And that's the goal. It's a learning event. We're going to be teaching lots of AI stuff this year. Had a meeting 2 weeks ago with a lot of our customers that have been coming for years, and I had some customers that just bought that hadn't even come to you Energize yet. What do y'all want? What do y'all need? So we've got a lot of AI stuff. We're going to do public relations, order management, and what's different about UV Energize compared to all these other events? Majority of these events are made. It's a money generator. Okay, for a lot of events, they do it because that's a source of income for them.
Yeah.
UV Energize, our goal is to spend as much money as possible. We don't look at UV Energize as a money making event. It costs $30 to get in. Okay, and that's just pretty much to hold your place because we had free registration before, and then there was 50 people that registered didn't show up.
Right.
This event sells out every year. We limited at 500. We're not trying to grow it over that. We don't need more than 500.
Yeah.
So it was just out of respect for the people who couldn't attend.
For
because
sure.
it was sold out. We said, all right, let's just make it some sort of payment. So if you do register, at least you're more likely to come.
Well, and we know how free goes with almost anything. You know, there's been several people that like I've given my course to for free, and those are statistically the people who don't actually end up following through and taking it because they haven't put any money or value into it, and so the need or desire to actually follow through with it is a lot less. So yeah, I get that for sure.
Yeah, just pay a little bit just to hold her spot, and it's 500 people. That's all we're doing. But
Yeah.
I think it was 3 years ago we had money left over because all the vendors that are there, they all chip in. Okay,
Right.
that's why we can do it where it doesn't cost the attendees much.
Yeah.
And plus, for that money, we got a dinner Wednesday night. We got I think Tuesday night we got Jelly Rolls rooftop downtown on Broadway rented out.
Nice.
They don't give them things away. We got to pay for it. So
right.
all the vendors that chip in, we all chip in and make it to where it's not expensive for any of us if we all chip in a little bit. Same thing at the Vegas party you was at. PDS didn't pay for all that. I had my Trotec chipped in. Elm Blue, my finance guy. There was 6 or 8 different companies that we all pulled our money together and threw a hell of a party.
Right.
And a lot of people, that was the highlight of our whole trip. That little event.
Yeah.
But when you have that many people together hanging out, it's a pretty special deal. But the You've Energized, we're going to have a lot of guest speakers, and these are people that are doing it. These aren't professors that are talking about it and thinking. These are people who are down.
Actually,
They're actually doing it. They're producers. They're making their money by doing the stuff that we're teaching.
Right.
We'll have public relations stuff. We'll have some Corel and Illustrator classes. And then our machines, y'all didn't come last year, did you? Y'all was there last year? Okay. We'll probably have 15 different Mimaki UV printers set up in the room. So as you're walking around, each machine will have a topic on it. So we'll be covering maybe hat patches on one machine, and the next machine we'll be talking about return on investment. The next machine will be completely stripped down with no covers on it. So we're teaching you all the hoses and all the parts. So as your machine gets some miles on it, there's maintenance you have to do to your machine. These are Japanese machines. It's like a Lexus automobile. If you do what you're supposed to do with your Lexus, if you change the oil when it's supposed to be changed, brakes when it's supposed to be changed, filter, if you follow their procedures, you might never break down.
Right.
Okay, that's the goal with all the Toyotas and Hondas. Normally they don't just break down. Okay, so during the show, we strip all the covers off and give everybody exactly what they need, parts they need to have on stock. So if something happens, they can fix it on a Friday night.
Right.
The wedding's on Saturday. They can't wait for Monday parts.
Yeah.
We try to make sure they have what they need on hand. So when they break down, they can call us. Hey, we'll walk you right through it. A lot of stuff we can walk them through, but that's the kind of stuff we're going to show at UV Energize. And, the Tuesday night networking event at Jelly Rolls is going to be awesome. Wednesday night is our big customer appreciation event. That's on the roof of the Westin Hotel. It's an open air bar called L27. Beautiful view of downtown Nashville. We'll have some entertainment and food and drinks. That's a special night.
Nice.
We look at it as our customer appreciation week.
Yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday,
Love
they
that.
come in, and these customers are hugging each other because they haven't seen each other since last UV Energize.
Right.
It's our biggest gathering of our customers. And what you'll know when you come to our event, these customers are flat making some money. They ain't playing. They're not piddling. They're not hobby crackers. These people are stacking up some serious money to where they're pouring concrete. They're putting up buildings.
Yeah.
They started in their garage. Now they're doing it. I mean, we got multiple accounts that have 30 or 40 of these machines just lined up.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
I need to hang out with some of those people.
That's the value of coming. You get to hang up, and when they come in, because we have lanyards that we give everybody. Well, we have little laser cut machines that you can see somebody's lanyard and you can tell which machines they own. So if you want to ask questions about a roll machine, you see somebody with lanyard on, you say, "Hey, I see you got a UCJV. How do you like it?" And they can just start the conversation, a little icebreaker.
Yeah.
So as you're networking, you see some guy with 30 pins on his lanyard, well, he's a freaking killer.
Right. So it's Nashville, and what's the dates again? September
2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Okay.
The 2nd is just classes. 2nd
Okay.
is classes all day. The 3rd is that's when the exhibit hall opens up, and it's from 10 to 4. We don't do early. We don't make you get up early. We don't keep you late. We want you to, the networking part of it.
Right.
4 o'clock, you go change clothes, go dinner, and go hang out with these people.
Mhm.
That downtime is needed for everybody, the vendors and the attendees, and we want to hang out with the customers too.
Right.
If we're working all night, we can't go hang out with our customers.
Yeah.
So the third is our customer appreciation event on the roof, and the 4th is just from 9 o'clock till 4 o'clock, and then it's over. And that's a Thursday. So if anybody wants to stay over Friday and hang out in Nashville, you're already there. Might as well, hang out in Nashville. Nashville is super fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never been, so I'm excited to go. As of right now, it'll probably just be me by myself, with Next Level being just before it and us driving and all of that. So he'll probably, he'll be driving back home so that my mother-in-law isn't stuck with the kids for basically 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But then I'll be hopefully joining Katie and hanging out with her at her booth and stuff. So yeah, he'll be going home, and then I'll be going on another trip afterwards, which after doing it last year, I told myself I wasn't going to do it again.
And
but
here you are doing it
here we
again.
are. But it's good times. It's hard because it's like, you want to go to all of them.
Yeah,
every event
listen,
kind of brings something different.
I'm gonna be driving down with a lot of FOMO.
Major FOMO.
Yep, about the event, because
it's go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, seeing them running the machines and getting more in depth into like the maintenance and everything like that, and it's just definitely
geeking out with all the
definite FOMO.
Yeah, we've got a lot of people, and we'll be at the laser conference too. Luckily,
the
laser conference is in Dallas.
Yeah,
we have an office in Dallas, so it's not. If it wasn't in Dallas, we probably couldn't attend just because that's setup time. It's like the holiday weekend, and a lot of people are traveling or whatever. So we'll be. I know where PDS is going to be the laser conference. I might come for a day just so I can get back and do the Energize setup. But it's different, everybody asks which one should I go to? The laser conference? It depends where you're at.
Right.
Exactly.
You're still early in the laser business and still trying to figure out your laser. go to the next level labor conference. That's
Mm.
what it's designed for. If you're already competent with your laser and looking to get a UV printer, that's what UV Energize is for. There'll be a
Right.
laser there, Trotec will be there, but ours is how to really make money with UV printers.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. So if you're into the laser, sure, laser conference is great. If you're
Yep.
ready to be surrounded by the best UV print providers in the country, that's who comes to UV Energize. And these people ain't playing. These are successful money-making companies, and it's just fun to be around that many awesome people that are doing it.
Nice.
Yes. Well, you hold on. We're going to continue the conversation. But
Where can they find them?
oh yes, where can they find you? Of course,
You and get tickets
if they
and all
want.
that.
Yeah, if they want more information on UV.
Yeah, you can give me a call, or can I give my phone number?
Yeah.
Up to you.
All right. Yeah, no, y'all, anybody can call me, whether it's you want to come to our events or if you want to just talk UV printing. It's 615-812-3001, and it's Steve Wiest. I'm all over the internet. I couldn't hide if I wanted to. So if you just Google or YouTube or Facebook Steve Wiest, you'll see me pop up. We got all the, of course, Instagram, Facebook, and just look up PDS equipment. If you go to the YouTube and search PDS equipment, I pretty much put my contact information on all my videos.
Yeah.
I get a lot of spam calls, but that's just
right.
part of it.
Yeah.
That's just part of it. But I'm definitely not hard to get a hold of. And anybody who wants an invitation to the UV Energize, I'll just shoot me a message. I'll be sure and get y'all a link to register. We're over 75% full already.
Nice.
And it's not till September. We only allow 500 people.
Right.
Just because the room can only hold so much. And
yeah.
People's like, why don't you get a different spot and grow it? I don't want to grow it. I'm not trying to make some mega event that you can't have time to talk with everybody. I want to be able to meet and talk to everybody that comes through there. And we're a small company. We only got like 25 employees. So if we sold, a bunch more machines, we couldn't do it anyway. So to keep our service at the level it should be and to not run my guys dead, we only need to sell so many machines. So we're careful not to, I've seen some companies go viral and it ruined their company because they was taking orders they couldn't deliver, and you can't do that. I tell my guys all the time, we go to a lot of trade shows. Well, if you start getting a bunch of pissed off customers and they keep coming to the trade show mad at you, you don't have no business going to trade shows.
Right.
If you can't take care of your existing customers, you shouldn't be selling equipment to new customers.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I told my guys, they all love going to trade shows. I said, as long as y'all keep everybody happy, we'll keep going. I said, but if we have to cancel a trade show because we've got some urgent service needs, I'll cancel it. And we'll go fix the customer, then we'll go back.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
Cool.
It's a good policy to have. Well, if you want to continue this conversation, you're going to have to join us over on Patreon, as low as $6 a month. Well, wait, because we're changing some things around.
Oh yeah. So
yes, the life update is coming up for both general admission and patron members.
But the extended interview, we're just switching up where that'll be. That'll be on Patreon. So the
extended interview will only be on Patreon.
Yeah.
But life update's coming up next. And we're back. Life update time.
Great conversation.
Yes, great conversation. We should have a segment somewhere about book recommendations. Because we always talk. No, I mean like in the show, like what's your favorite book or what? Like
it needs to be. Oh shit! I didn't ask him that question, which I haven't really asked it because it's been the events
but
one.
But it's also that's what I'm saying. It's hard because it's the event. He sells machines, like
But yeah, the books is huge. I think all of the extended episodes are good and full of information because we've already talked, we've got the basics out of the way, and now we're just talking about like the meat and potatoes.
Well, no, I feel like we get the meat and potatoes.
Well, we do, but like we continue the conversation. We're comfortable, and this one again, I think was great because that's when he got into his book recommendations, and I love when successful people or people who I see as successful are listening to books that I'm listening to as well. I'm like, okay, I'm doing something right. You implement a few of those things.
To some of the things.
Right.
Now let's just make sure we do it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So but as far as life update, there's not a ton different. I'm still, I don't know if you guys have noticed, I don't know if we talked about it last week, but the kind of series that both of us have been doing, you've not written necessarily a series, but doing a lot more tips and tricks, and people have been, resonating with those things that you've been making and posting. And I've been doing the 90s vibes and packing supplies videos, which most days are fun. Some days I'm like, but it gets me posting something. It gets me out there, visual in front of people. And just in that practice of, if they don't know that we're there, they're not gonna support us or, otherwise.
I set up started to set up the meta suite for
that was so annoying.
To start running ads and stuff.
17 million different codes.
It was because I'm logging into your account from my computer, and even though I say trust device, it's not trusting the device. So listen,
which is kind of good.
Listen, I was gonna say Meta Business Suite is really good because they really make sure it's you. But so.
Well, and then you're working on looking into running an ad.
Yeah,
for
I'm running a
keychain
local.
Thingies
For keychain thingies. Everyone really likes the infomercial.
The infomercial we made.
So we have this lead generating content that we're not pushing out there. So if you start seeing that more, that is a paid ad, and you're welcome.
Yeah, please interact with it. Get it. Let the algorithm know you like it if you see it.
That's right.
But just toying around with a bunch of little different things,
Tweaks.
trying to get ready for upcoming events and stuff. And just business as usual over here, trying to manage all just the ebbs and flows of everything. And
we're ebbing and flowing over here.
Yeah. We're trying.
But with that, it's been another great episode of Red Project. Crystal and John.
Bye.
Maybe we're all done. The Funny Black Project. Bye.
Say bye.
Bye.
Wait, hold on. Nino, I'm recording.